A lot of Christian nationalists have the mindset of freedom for me, but not for thee. Because truth is, they don't give a fuck about anyone that isn't just like them. It's a fear cult, duct taped to patriotism, powered by their nostalgia, defended by people, most of which have never even read a fucking Bible. Me, myself, I'm an atheist, but I wasn't always an atheist. I actually grew up in a very heavily Christian space, and it was kind of just assumed, kind of like gravity just exists, that you would just be a Christian. Like, they just assume it. Or they threaten you to burn in hell forever if you disagree. And my parents weren't even the problem. Not really. It was mostly all of the kids around me that is where all this started for me. Kids, teachers, people coming back from church, preaching the gospel in my school. Random authority figures thought it was totally fine to tell children, that if they didn't pray correctly, they would be tortured for eternity, which, quick sidebar, is a wild fucking thing to say to a kid. It's like saying, hey kids, welcome to consciousness, but also if you don't love the right invisible being, you'll be on fire forever. Sleep tight. Thanks. That terrified me, needless to say. I was a fucking kid. And terror is the point of what I'm getting to. And once you realize that fear is their foundation, everything else starts to wobble around, okay? Let's take some examples. Let's use the Bible. It's their favorite prop anyways. In Matthew 22:39, Jesus says, love your neighbor as yourself. Christian nationalists hear that and go, cool, but what if my neighbor's brown? What if he's gay? What if he's poor or foreign or inconvenient? Jesus also says, blessed are the meek in Matthew 5:5. Christian nationalists hear that and they respond with guns, flags, and a persecution complex the size of fucking Texas. Jesus says it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Matthew 19:24. And somehow the loudest Christians in America are worshiping billionaires like they're prophets. That's not interpretation. That's fan fiction. They scream about the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, while fetishizing violence, cheering on for war, and fantasizing about civil conflict like it's some fucking Marvel movie. They'll quote, God is love, and then without irony, endorse laws that actively harm people they don't like. And when you point out the contradiction, they suddenly discover nuance, context, metaphor. It's funny how that works, because the Bible itself can't even agree with itself. God is supposedly unchanging. In Malachi 3:6, for I, the Lord, do not change, except he absolutely does. He regrets creating humanity. In Genesis 6:6, the Lord regretted that he made human beings on the earth. He commands thou shalt not kill, but then orders genocides in Samuel 15:3. Now go and strike Amalek and devote to destruction all that they have. He's all about free will, except when he hardens Pharaoh's heart on purpose so he can punish him harder. Exodus 9:12, which is less divine justice and more cosmic entrapment. And this is the moral framework white Christian nationalism wants to have enshrined into our laws, a book that condones slavery. Ephesians, if I'm saying that right, 6:5, I'm not good with the pronunciations, forgive me. Slaves, obey your earthly masters. A book that treats women like property. You can look it up. It's Deuteronomy 22:28-29. If a man meets a virgin who is not betrothed and seizes her and lies with her and they are found, the man who lays with her, so if you rape a woman, you give her father some silver, some coins, and then you get to marry her because it says, because he has violated her. He may not divorce her for all of his days. That's pretty black and white. That's pretty fucked up. I shouldn't have to explain to people why that's fucked up. It's a book where punishment is eternal, disproportionate, inescapable, which is perfect if you're trying to scare people into compliance. Hell isn't theology, it's a threat. And the moment you stop being afraid of it, the system panics. That's why white Christian nationalism is so aggressive right now, because fewer people than ever before on this planet believe. So instead of persuasion, they choose power. Instead of faith, they choose force. Instead of come to Jesus, it's we'll make laws for you. You don't need the state to enforce a belief people freely choose. You only need it when the belief is collapsing. And the nationalism part is just the final mask off, because this isn't about God. It's about who gets to decide reality. Who counts as moral? Who counts as an American? Who counts as a human? It's deeply ironic, almost funny in a bleak way, that a religion obsessed with salvation produces a movement so terrified of empathy. If your God is real and omnipotent, why does he need politicians? If your faith is true, why does it fall apart the second kids learn how to critically think? If your morality is absolute, why are you constantly afraid of books? And so here's the part that I don't think gets said enough, okay? A belief system that relies on childhood indoctrination, fear of eternal torture, and social punishment for dissent is not a belief system. It's a hostage negotiation. And I'm done treating it like it's sacred just because it's old. I'm not saying people can't believe whatever fairy tale helps them sleep at night. I'm just saying that fairy tale doesn't get to run the fucking country. If your faith is real, it doesn't need threats. If your God is real, he doesn't need laws. And if your worldview collapses without fear, then fear was the whole point. White Christian nationalism isn't about saving souls. It's about maintaining control in a world that's finally asking, wait, does any of this actually make sense? And the answer is, once you stop being afraid, it's pretty obvious, okay? I think the most honest part about all of this is that none of it ends with some big realization. There's no moment where the crowd wakes up, no collective, oh shit, no lesson learned. Most of this just calcifies. People don't abandon belief systems like this because they're wrong. They abandon them when they stop being useful. And as long as fear works, as long as obedience feels safer than thought, this will keep going. Not because it makes sense, but because it fills a role. It gives people a villain, it gives them certainty, and it gives them permission. And that's usually enough. History isn't a cycle because humans forget. It's a cycle because most of us remember and still do it anyways. Different slogans, different idols, same posture. Kneeling doesn't look like kneeling when everyone around you is doing it. It just feels normal. And the systems that benefit from that don't need to lie very hard. They just need to wait. So when people ask how this happens, how belief turns into power and faith turns into obedience, the answer is really boring. It's not a conspiracy. It's not some master plan. It's just what people do when thinking feels dangerous and certainly feels warm. Anyways, gonna end this with a little quote. Those who can make you believe in absurdities can make you commit atrocities. So yeah, if you've watched this whole video, thanks. I appreciate it. Leave a comment if you want. And see you in the next one.